Welcome back to the 1031 Real Estate YouTube channel. I'm Brad Pickens. This is going to be the second video in our short series of videos on listing concepts and misconceptions. This video will be more, I think, about my mentality behind listing properties, what I think the listing agent's role is as compared to the buyer's agent. So to start off with, while it is the listing agent's job to get your home sold, it's not the listing agent's job to sell your home in, like a conceptual sense. So to explain that, you have to understand what sales is. And what sales is identifying what your potential client or customer's needs are, what their goals are, what their pain points are, why they're looking to buy, and then speaking to how your product or service, or in this case, home, fits their needs, goals, pain points, solves their problem, whatever it is. And as I mentioned in the last video, I don't represent buyers on my listings, and realistically, I wouldn't recommend any listing agent representing a buyer. So the idea that I'm going to go in and sell your home to a buyer and talk about the features and benefits to a buyer, I think would be a disservice again to a seller. So just like any other industry, no one wants to feel sold, right? They want to know that the person helping them has their best interest in mind, understands their wants and needs, and is helping them solve the problem or figure out how to eliminate, or to reach their goals, basically. So I learned, pretty early in my career when I was showing homes to buyers, that if I just walked through the home with them and started telling them about the features of the home, the features of the neighborhood, schools, all of that good stuff, 99% of the time they would not buy that home that I'm showing them. And then conversely, the homes that I just showed them and didn't really speak to much, they were more likely to buy. And as I honed my sales skills, I realized that you have to listen to your clients and understand what they're looking for in order to speak to those points. So that brings me to one point, and that's neighborhood experts. And I think that tactic is used by agents just to get their foot in the door. Either they live in the neighborhood and they decide to market to it, or it's just their way of getting in front of a seller, because I think it's an outdated concept that you need a neighborhood expert to sell your home. Buyers, at least in Silicon Valley, are very educated and do their research before going out and looking at homes or before buying a home. So they know what schools it has, what features the neighborhood has, benefits, those sorts of things. You don't need someone to sell those features to them. I think you should work with someone, and we'll get into the concepts around what I think are most important in a listing agent in a second, but I think you need someone that's more tailored to that rather than a neighborhood. And then you also have to be careful of these agents. There's no criteria to becoming a neighborhood expert. Some agents just call themselves that. I had a seller show me a postcard that they received in the mail, and they were considering this agent because it wasn't a seller I had a strong relationship with. And they said, "Hey, this agent's a neighborhood expert. I want a neighborhood expert to sell my home." I said, "Well, actually, let's look up that agent and see how many homes in this neighborhood they've sold, and let's look up their credentials." The agent had sold a home, a couple blocks over, and that's the only one in that neighborhood. So how are they a neighborhood expert? They're actually just trying to farm that neighborhood for other sellers and calling themselves a neighborhood expert. So to get more into, what I think a listing agent's real job is, and what their expertise should be, it really falls into four main areas. And that's going to be helping you with the preparation of your home, helping you figure out how to present your home to the world and to the market in its best light, make it seem as valuable as possible, how to market the home, and then to negotiate the offers that come in. And we talked about negotiation in the last video, so we won't go into depth there. But in terms of the preparation, and this is why I think a listing specialist is important, not just a regular real estate agent that's running around with buyers for 40 hours a week and then wants to list your home. You want someone that understands what buyers are looking for and how to spend your money wisely to get your home ready for the market. So to qualify that first, let me say, and this is something I should have touched on in the last video too, you could sell a home in any condition, right? Original condition, fixer-upper condition, fully remodeled, somewhere in between. You just have to understand how the value relates to the condition. So when I work with a seller, a lot of times it's investment properties, which is probably how you found our channel. They're looking to get the most money for their property. And that's not necessarily doing a full remodel. That's doing strategic work to the property. And for every dollar we put in, we look to get $3 to $4 out. Now, when you're looking to hire a listing agent, do they have that expertise? Do they understand what gets the most money in return for the money you're spending? Or are they coming in saying, sell it in its current condition, that's how you get the most, or full $150,000, $200,000 remodel, right? You want an agent that can speak intelligently about where to spend that money. And on top of that, typically you want your agent to be able to, have contractors that they work with on a regular basis. So you're getting a good deal, right? If an agent has a contractor in their pocket, they're getting priority scheduling and they're getting priority pricing, because that contractor doesn't have to go out and find new jobs and spend money marketing and time doing that stuff. So you want an agent that can do that for you, help you figure out and negotiate those costs, figure out where to spend the money. And then, like our brokerage, we loan the money to our clients at 0% interest so that they don't have to come out of pocket for that, and they just pay back at the close of escrow. So now you're really leveraging and getting the maximum net dollar you can out of the property you're selling. So the next would be the presentation of the home to the market, into the world, right? And this kind of straddles that line between preparation and marketing, and it fits into both categories. So presentation, when we talk about that, it's, what color schemes work best? Do you need to refinish, redo your countertops, remodel your kitchen, landscaping? How do we get that property to appeal to as many buyers as possible and look as high value as possible without turning people off to the home? Because that's another common mistake, is people will put in these super high-end finishes and then jack their asking price up, and now they're the premium product in a neighborhood, and no one wants to pay a premium to live in a neighborhood, right? They want to get a good deal. So it straddles a line on the preparation side on that side, and then the marketing side, it kind of fits in there because the preparation is also the photography, the videography, 3D tours, staging, making sure the property looks correct in those areas. You're not using an iPhone camera, low quality video, those sorts of things, because all of that psychologically fits into the buyer's perception of value of your home. And then on the marketing front, a lot of these agents that aren't listing specialists, or even the neighborhood experts, they just put the home on the MLS and pray that it sells. They don't go out there and actively market to potential buyers, market it to other agents that have buyers, push the property to other countries where you have investment dollars coming into California and into Silicon Valley, where they want to park their money and they know it'll appreciate over time. So, when you're looking to hire a listing agent, ask them what they're doing to market the home, not just putting the home on the MLS and holding open houses. Open houses are effective, but it's not the end all be all. And the last point on that would be the negotiation. And again, we talked about that in the last video. You want to make sure they can negotiate on your behalf. And a little bonus area in this video, or another thing that I want to talk about, because it just came up recently. I was actually helping a friend buy a home, and he was telling me that they were going to open houses, and these agents are telling him, well, you have to put at least 50% down to be competitive. And I think that's a common mistake that, unexperienced agents do as well. They look at a buyer's strength purely off of their down payment, where, I explained to my friend, there's much more nuance to a buyer's credentials. So when you're working, I guess that's another thing that you want to look for in a listing agent, is how well can they read the financials of an offer? Are they just going off of the purchase price and the down payment? Because that's you're not getting a full picture there. And I laid it out in this way to my friend, and this is how I communicate with all of my clients about this. So let's take this hypothetical scenario. You have two offers, same offer price. One's 50% down, one's 20% down. You always want to look at their pre-approval letter and their reserves. Now, the 50% down offer, let's say, for the purpose of this conversation, let's say the 50% down offer cannot do 20% down. They have to do 50% down. Either they don't make enough per month, or they have bad credit, or they inherited the money and they just have to put that down. And the 20% offer can put 50% down, but they're choosing to put 20 down. So they have plenty of reserves if something was to happen with their loan, with the property, with the appraisal. which buyer is actually the stronger buyer and more likely to close on the home, the one that has to put 50% down and has very limited reserves beyond that, or the buyer that's choosing to put 20% down, right? So the down payment's not a good judge of financial strength of a buyer. So that was just a little bit of like a bonus thing because I thought of it and it came up last week. So anytime you're talking with an agent, you want to make sure they understand the whole buying process, throughout, as well as the listing process. So if you found that video helpful, please feel free to like it. Consider subscribing to our channel. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll see you next week.